Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on November 12th, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Gati Bhagavan Mande
Sri Guru Gitarinam
Avananda Madhu
Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, today we will continue with the compilation of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Today's chapter is entitled Three Principal Forms of Bhagavan. 2. Tadekatma Rupa V. Swamsa. Personal Expansions 1. Purushavatara Part 1. Under the section, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatan Goswami in the science of absolute truth. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.243.
এ তাবৎ কৃষ্ণ স্বরূপের ছয় প্রকার বিলাসের অন্তর্গত প্রাবব ও বৈভব রূপ দ্বিবিধ প্রকাশের বিলাস বর্ণিত। এক্ষণে সাংস ও সপ্তাবেশ রূপ দ্বিবিধাবতার বৎসময়। প্রকাশ বিলাসের এই কইলু বিবরণ সংসার বেদ এবে শোনো সনাতন।
I have already described the pastime and prakasha forms. Now please hear about the different personal expansions.
So the details of the Lord's expansion
So the detail of the Lord's expansions
are being described here by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
are being described here by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
recorded in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
recorded in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.244.
সাংসের প্রধানত দুই রূপ, এক প্রকৃতির অধিষ্ঠাতা চালক, দুই সাধুর পালক ও অসাধুর বিনাশ রূপে নানা অবতার। শঙ্কর্ষণ মৎস্যাদিক দুই বেদ তার, শঙ্কর্ষণ পুরুষ অবতার মৎস্যাদি অবতার।
The first personal expansion is Shankarshana, and the others are incarnations like the fish incarnation. Shankarshan is an expansion of Purusha or Vishnu. The incarnations such as Matsya, the fish incarnation, appear in different yugas for specific pastimes. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Purushavataras are the lords of universal creation. These are Karano Dakashayi Vishnu, Garbho Dakashayi Vishnu, and Kshiro Dakashayi Vishnu. There are also Leela avatars, and these include 1. Chatusana or the 4 Kumaras, 2. Narada, 3. Varaha, 4. Matsya, 5. Yajna, 6. Naranarayana, 7. Kardami Kapila, 8. Dattatreya, 9. Hayashirsha, 10. Hamsa, 11. Dhruvapriya or Prishnigarbha, 12. Rishabha, 13. Prithu, 14. Nrisimha, 15. Kurma, 16. Dhanvantari, 17. Mohini, 18th Vamana, 19th Bhargava Parashurama, 20 Raghavendra, 21 Vyasa, 22 Pralambari Balarama, 23 Krishna, 24 Buddha, 25 Kalki. These 25 personalities of Godhead are known as Leelavatara because they appear in each day of Brahma or in each Kalpa millennium. They are sometimes known as Kalpavataras Of these incarnations, Hamsa and Mohini are neither permanent nor very well known, but they are listed among the Prabhava avatars. Kapila, Dattatreya, Rishabha, Dhanvantari, and Vyasa are eternally situated and very widely known. They are also counted among the Prabhava incarnations Kurma, Matsya, Narayana, Varaha, Hayagriva, Prishnigarbha, and Baladeva, the killer of Pralambasura, are counted among the Vaibhava avatars. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.245
ছয় প্রকার অবতার। অবতার হয় কৃষ্ণের ষড়বিধ প্রকার, পুরুষ অবতার এক, লীলা অবতার আর।
There are 6 types of incarnations, avatars of Krishna. One comprises the incarnations of Vishnu, Purusha Avatara, and another comprises the incarnation meant for the performance of pastimes, Leela Avataras. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.246
গুণাবতার আর মন্বন্তর অবতার, যোগাবতার আর শক্তাবেশ অবতার।
There are incarnations that control the material qualities, Gunavataras, incarnations who appear during the reign of each Manu, Manvantara Avataras, incarnation in different millenniums, Yugavataras, and incarnation of empowered living entities, Satyavesha Avataras. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Guna Avataras are 3, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Bhagavatam 10.88.3. The avatars who appear during the reign of each Manu, known as Manvantara Avataras, are listed as follows in Srimad Bhagavatam 8 Canto, chapters 1 and 5, 1, 5 and 13. Yajna, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikunta, Ajita, Vamana, Sarvabhauma, Rishabha, Vishwakshena, Dharmasetu, Sudhama, Yogeshwara, and Brihadbhanu. Altogether, these are 14 in number, and of these, Yajna and Vamana are also counted among Leela Avataras. All these Manvantara incarnations are sometimes called Vaibhava Avataras. The 4 Yuga Avataras are Shukla, white in Satya Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.21, Rakta, red in Treta Yuga 11.5.24, Shama, dark blue in Dwapara Yuga 11.5.27, and 4th, generally Krishna, black, but in special case Pita, yellow, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, Bhagavatam 11.5.32 and 10.8.13. The Satyavesha avatars are categorized into 1. Forms of divine absorption, Bhagavat Avesha, such as Kapila Deva and Rishabha Deva, and divinely empowered forms, Satyavesha, of whom 7 foremost, Seshanaga, and in the Vaikunta world, empowered for the personal service of the Supreme Lord, Swa Sebon Shakti, and Anantadeva, empowered to bear all the planets within the universe, Bhudharana Shakti, and Lord Brahma, empowered with the energy to create the cosmic manifestation, Shrishti Shakti, Chatusana, or the Kumara, specifically empowered to distribute transcendental knowledge, Jnana Shakti, Narada Muni, empowered to distribute devotional service, Bhakti Shakti, Maharaja Prithu, specifically empowered to rule and maintain the living entities, Palana Shakti, and Parashurama, specifically empowered to cut down the rogues and demons, Dushta Damana Shakti.
So, the kinds of incarnations are described in these verses.
So, different kinds of incarnations are discussed in these verses.
Some are personally extensions of the Lord.
Some are personally expansions of the Lord.
Some are extensions of extensions.
Some are expansions of expansions.
And some are empowered living entities.
And some are empowered living entities.
So, in this way, the Absolute Truth is situated in various forms.
So, in this way, the absolute truth situated in various forms. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.247.
কিশোর কৃষ্ণের ছয় প্রকার বিলাসের মধ্যে বয় ধর্মভেদে দ্বিবিধ বিলাস বা লীলা। বাল্য পৌগণ্ড হয় বিগ্রহের ধর্ম, এত রূপে লীলা করেন ব্রজেন্দ্র নন্দন।
Childhood and boyhood are the typical ages of the deities. Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, performed his pastime as a child and as a boy.
Krishna's childhood and boyhood pastimes in Gokula
So, Krishna's childhood and boyhood pastimes in Gokula
are very special.
are very special.
He is running these pastimes in a mode of cowherd.
He performed his pastime in a mood of a cowherd.
When he goes to Mathura and Dwarka, he changes his mood of Kshatriya.
When he goes to Mathura and Dwaraka, he changed his mood into a Kshatriya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.248.
কৃষ্ণের অসংখ্য অবতার, অনন্ত অবতার কৃষ্ণের নাহিক গণন, শাখা চন্দ্র ন্যায় করি দিগ দর্শন।
There are innumerable incarnations of Krishna, and there is no possibility of counting them. We can simply indicate them by giving the example of the moon in the branches of a tree. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Although the moon appears to be located in the branches of a tree, it is actually situated very far away. Similarly, none of the avatars or incarnations of Lord Krishna are within this material world, but they are visible by the causeless mercy of the Lord. We should not consider them to belong to this material world as stated by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mamabhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Avatars descend of their own free will, and although they may act like ordinary human beings, they do not belong to this material world. Lord Krishna and his avatars can be understood only by the grace of the Lord. There's a verse from Katha Upanishad. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by means of expert explanations, vast intelligence, or even much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom He himself chooses. To such a person He manifests His own form. Atapi te deva padambujadvaya prasada lesha anugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimo nachanya eko pichiram vichinvan. Bhagavatam 10.14.29. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue studying the Vedas for many years.
Stop reading the Vedic literatures and hearing the Acharya
So, reading the Vedic literatures and hearing from the Acharyas
in the disciplic succession
in disciplic succession,
of the four bona fide disciplic succession,
one of the four bona fide disciplic succession,
having some mercy from the Lord,
having some mercy from the Lord,
and one is able to understand the position of the Supreme Person in Godhead.
by having the mercy from the Supreme Lord, one is able to understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
That he comes out of his own free will
that he comes out of his own free will
and not conditioned by the material energy.
and he is not conditioned by the material energy,
Neither is he a product of the material energy.
and he is not the product of the material energy.
He existed before material world and he exists after the material world.
He existed before the material world and he exists after the material world.
He comes down in the material world
He comes
by
down,
his own free will.
he comes down to this material world by his own free will. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 20.249.
শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতে 1:3-26।
Avatara hi ashankeya harer sattvanidher dvijaha yata avidashina kulya sarasashu sahasrashaha. O learned Brahmanas, just as hundreds and thousands of small rivulets issue from great reservoirs of water, innumerable incarnations flow from Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the reservoir of all power. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.26.
There's no limit to how many avatars come from Lord Krishna.
So there is no limit for how many avatars come from Lord Krishna.
Just as he's unlimited, so his expansions and avatars are limited.
So just as He is unlimited, His expansions or avatars are also unlimited. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.250.
ক সর্বপ্রথমে 3টি পুরুষ অবতার। কারণ গর্ভ ক্ষীর সাগর শাহী। প্রথমেই করে কৃষ্ণ পুরুষ অবতার, সেই তো পুরুষ হয় ত্রিবিধ প্রকার।
In the beginning, Krishna incarnates himself as the Purusha avatars or Vishnu incarnations. These are of three types. Purport: up to this verse, the many types of expansion has been described. Now, the manifestations of the Lord's different potency will be described.
Karanaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu,
Karano Dakashayi Vishnu or Mahavishnu,
Garbhodakashayi Vishnu,
Garbho Dakashayi Vishnu,
and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu
and Kiro Dakashayi Vishnu
are the three Vishnu expansions.
are the three Vishnu expansion.
One Mahavishnu,
One Mahavishnu
one Garbhodakashayi Vishnu in every universe,
and one Garbhodakashayi Vishnu in every universe,
and one Kshirodakashayi Vishnu in every animal and every heart
and Shirodakashayi Vishnu in every atoms and every heart
of every living being.
of every living beings. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.251.
লঘু ভাগবতামৃতে 1:33 সাত্যতন্ত্র বাক্য।
Vishnu has three forms called Purushas. The first Mahavishnu is the creator of the total material energy, Mahat. The second is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodashayi Vishnu, who is situated within each universe. And the third is Shirodashayi Vishnu, who lives in the heart of every living being. He who knows these three becomes liberated from the clutches of Maya. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse appears in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita Purva Khanda 2.9, where it has been quoted from Satvata Tantra. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.252.
এক কৃষ্ণই ত্রিবিধ স্বরূপ শক্তির অধিষ্ঠাতা। অনন্ত শক্তি মধ্যে কৃষ্ণের 3 শক্তি প্রধান, ইচ্ছা শক্তি, ক্রিয়া শক্তি, জ্ঞান শক্তি নাম।
Krishna has unlimited potencies, out of which 3 are chief: willpower, the power of knowledge, and the creative energy. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.253.
স্বয়ং কৃষ্ণ ইচ্ছা বা আনন্দ শক্তির এবং চতুর্ভুজের মধ্যে এক বাসুদেব রূপে তিনি সম্বিত শক্তির প্রভু। ইচ্ছা শক্তি প্রদান কৃষ্ণ, ইচ্ছায় সর্বকর্তা। জ্ঞান শক্তি শক্তি প্রধান বাসুদেব অধিষ্ঠাতা।
The predominator of the willing potency is Lord Krishna, for by his supreme will everything comes into existence. In willing, there is a need for knowledge, and that knowledge is expressed through Vasudeva.
The signs of the absolute truth, how the different potencies of the Lord manifest,
The signs of absolute truth, how the different potencies of the Lord manifest,
is explained here.
is explained here. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.254.
ইচ্ছা জ্ঞান ক্রিয়া বিনা না হয় সৃজন, তিনের তিন শক্তি মেলি প্রপঞ্চ রচন।
There is no possibility of creation without thinking, feeling, willing, knowledge, and activity. The combination of the supreme will, knowledge, and action brings about the cosmic manifestation.
Einstein, after studying the material world,
Einstein, after studying the material world,
said that there must be an intelligence behind
said that there must be some intelligence behind.
You can see here all different potencies of Krishna manifest
We can see here how the different potencies of Krishna manifest
to create the material world.
to create the material world. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.255.
তিনি বলরাম বা সংকর্ষণ রূপে সন্ধিনী শক্তির প্রভু, ত্রিবিধ শক্তি দেয়ারে চিজ্জগৎ প্রাকট্য। ক্রিয়া শক্তি প্রদান সংকর্ষণ বলরাম, প্রাকৃত অপ্রাকৃত সৃষ্টি করেন নির্মাণ।
Lord Shankarshana is Lord Balaram. Being the predominator of the creative energy, he creates both the material and the spiritual world.
So, the material and spiritual worlds are created through the agency of Balaram.
So, the material and the spiritual worlds are created through the agency of Balaram,
Through his Sankarsana expansion.
through his Shankarshana expansion. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.256.
সংকর্ষণেই আদি পুরুষ বা কারণশায়ী ও চিৎ বৈভব সত্তার কারণ। অহংকারের অধিষ্ঠাতা কৃষ্ণের ইচ্ছায় গোলক বৈকুণ্ঠ সৃজে চিৎ শক্তি দ্বারায়।
The original Shankarshana, Lord Balaram, is the cause of both the material and the spiritual creation. He is the predominating deity of egotism, and by the will of Krishna and the power of the spiritual energy, he creates the spiritual world which consists of the planet Golok Vrindavan and the Vaikuntha planets.
This explains how the spiritual world is expanded.
So, this explains how the spiritual world is expanded
Through Lord Balaram,
through Lord Balaram,
the original Sankarsana.
the original Sankarshan. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.257.
চিৎ শক্তি বিলাস তদ্রূপ বৈভব সংকর্ষণ হইতে প্রকাশিত। যদ্যপি অসৃজ্য নিত্য চিৎ শক্তি বিলাস, তথাপি সংকর্ষণ ইচ্ছায় তাহারও প্রকাশ।
Although there is no question of creation as far as the spiritual world is concerned, the spiritual world is nonetheless manifested by the supreme will of Shankarshan. The spiritual world is the abode of the pastimes of the eternal spiritual energy.
The spiritual world is not created, but is manifested
So the spiritual
by Balaram.
So the spiritual world is not created, but it is manifested by Lord Balaram. Wow.
He keeps it manifested.
And he keeps it manifested.
He's first expansion of Lord Krishna.
He is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.258.
অনন্তরূপী সংকর্ষণ হইতে গোলকধাম প্রাকট্য ব্রহ্মসংহিতায় 5-2।
Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakam Mahatpadam Tatkarnikaram Tadama Tat Anantamsha Sambhavam. Gokula, the supreme abode, and planet appears like a lotus flower that has 1,000 petals. The role of that lotus is the abode of the Supreme Lord Krishna. This lotus-shaped supreme abode is created by the will of Lord Ananta. Purport: this verse is quoted from Brahma Samhita 5.2.
Lord Anantadev is expansion of Lord Balaram.
Lord Anantadev is expansion of Lord Balaram.
The name Balaram, he is ultimately willing the expansion of the spiritual world.
So this Balaram is also willing the expansion of the spiritual world. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.259.
সাংখ্যবাদ নিরাশ, সংকর্ষণের ঈক্ষণ শক্তি ক্ষুব্ধা, জড় মায়াই ক্রিয়াবতী হইয়া বিশ্ব সৃষ্টিকারিণী। মায়াধারে সৃজে তেহ ব্রহ্মাণ্ডের গণ, জড়রূপা প্রকৃতি নহে ব্রহ্মাণ্ড কারণ।
By the agency of the material energy, this same Lord Shankarshana creates all the universes. The dull material energy known in the modern language as nature is not the cause of the material universe.
This is very important
This is very important
to understand.
to understand.
And Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada
His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada
has been explaining that life comes from life,
has explained that life comes from life,
and that the dull material energy cannot on its own create anything.
and dull material energy cannot exponentiate anything.
This verse clarifies the actual activity in the material world
So this verse clarifies the actual activity of the material world.
is ultimately caused by the Supreme Person of Godhead,
It is ultimately caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead
and not by the material energy,
and not by the material
which the modern scientists
energy.
somehow state that everything comes by accident.
Which the modern scientist somehow says that everything comes from an accident.
And this Prabhupada described that they're always studying their power.
From this, Prabhupada has said
That these so-called scientists
the so-called scientists
are overstepping their power.
are overstepping their powers.
They cannot say how things created.
They cannot see how things are created.
So here, Lord Chaitanya is instructing Sanatana Goswami
So here Lord Chaitanya is instructing Sanatan Goswami
how the material world comes into being
how the material world comes into being
by the will of the Supreme Person of Godhead.
by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
This not by Big Bang or Big Bounce or any other mundane theory.
It is not by the Big Bang or Big Bounds or any other material mundane theories.
So this many literatures of descending knowledge give the actual science of creation, of
So the Vedic
manifestation of the material world.
So the Vedic literatures, the descending science, give the actual knowledge of the manifestation of the material world. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.260.
জড় হইতে সৃষ্টি নহে, ঈশ্বর শক্তি বিনে তাহাতেই সংকর্ষণ করে শক্তির আদানে।
Without the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energy, dull matter cannot create the cosmic manifestation. Its power does not arise from the material energy itself, but endowed by Shankarshana.
So Sankarshan Prabhu, who is Icha Shakti,
So Shankarshan Prabhu, whose Icha Shakti,
he's the material world comes to life
allow the material world to come alive
by inserting the small particles, expansions of Lord Krishna,
by inserting small particle expansions of Lord Krishna,
separated particles.
the separated particles. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.261.
উপমা ঈশ্বরের শক্তে সৃষ্টি কর এ প্রকৃতি, লৌহ যেন অগ্নি শক্তে পায় দাহ শক্তি।
Dull matter alone cannot create anything. The material energy produces that creation by the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iron itself has no power to burn, but when iron is placed in fire, it is empowered to burn.
When the material energy is entered into by the separated spiritual particles,
When the material energy has entered into the separated particles,
which are living entities,
which are living entities,
then the material energy starts to manifest
then the material energy starts to manifest.
different forms.
In different forms. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.262.
রামকৃষ্ণই বিশ্বের একমাত্র জনক ও নিয়ামক। শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের দশম স্কন্দের 46 নম্বর অধ্যায়ের 31 নম্বর শ্লোক।
एतौ हि विश्वस्य च बीजयोनि रामो मुकुन्द पुरुषप्रधानम् अन्वीयभूतेषु विलक्षणस्य ज्ञानस्य चेशता इमौ पुराणौ. Balarama and Krishna are the original efficient and material causes of the material world. As Mahavishnu and the material energy, they enter into the material elements and create the diversities by multi-energies. Thus, they are the cause of all causes. Purport: This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:46-31.
Because things happen. So they're cause of all causes.
So, the cause of all causes,
They cause things to happen.
they cause things to happen.
They cause things to cause.
They cause things to cause.
Thus they're the cause of all causes.
Thus, they are the cause of all causes. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.263.
প্রপঞ্চ অতীত ধাম হইতে কৃপাপূর্বক প্রপঞ্চে প্রাকট্য ও অবতরণই অবতার। সৃষ্টি হেতু যেই মূর্তি প্রপঞ্চে অবতরে, সেই ঈশ্বর মূর্তি অবতার নাম ধরে।
The form of the Lord that descends into the material world to create is called an avatara or incarnation.
Lord incarnation really means to take a material form.
So the
Incarna.
Lord's incarnation doesn't mean that he takes a material form.
But he doesn't do that.
But he doesn't do
He
that.
actually descends with his own spiritual form into the material world.
But he actually descends with his own spiritual form into the material
Therefore,
world.
the Sanskrit used is avatara,
So therefore the Sanskrit used this word avatara,
which means descent.
which means descends. Chaitanya Charitamrita 20.264.
মায়াতীত পরম ভূমে সবার অবস্থান বিশ্বে অবতরি ধরে অবতার নাম।
All the expansions of Lord Krishna are actually residents of the spiritual world, but when they descend into the material world, they are called incarnations, avatara.
So Krishna is avatari,
So Krishna is avatari,
source of all the
the
expansions
source of all the expansions,
who live in the spiritual world.
who live in the spiritual
When
world.
they descend into the material world,
But when they descend into the
they're
material,
called avatars.
they are called avataras.
And in English, it's called incarnations,
In English, this is called incarnations,
but they're actually descending with their full spiritual identity.
but they are actually descending with the full spiritual identity. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.265.
শঙ্কর্ষণই প্রকৃতি বিকশন ও বীজ বপনকারী আদি পুরুষ অবতার। সেই মায়া অবলোকিতে শ্রী শঙ্কর্ষণ পুরুষরূপে অবতীর্ণ হইলা প্রথম।
To glance over that material energy and empower her, Lord Shankarshan first incarnates as Lord Mahavishnu. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.266.
শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের প্রথম স্কন্ধের তৃতীয় অধ্যায়ের 1 নম্বর শ্লোক।
जागृहे पौरुषं रूपं भगवान् महदादिभिः सम्भूतं सोदशकलम् आदौ लोकसृष्टिक्षया. In the beginning of the creation, the Lord expanded himself in the form of the Purusha, incarnation, accompanied by all the ingredients of material creation. First, he created the 16 principal energies suitable for creation. This was for the purpose of manifesting the material universes.
So the Supreme Lord,
So the Supreme Lord,
He does the first creation
he does the first creation
of the whole material world,
of the whole material world,
unlimited millions of universes.
unlimited millions of universes.
Secondary creation
The secondary creation
is done in each universe
is done in each universe
by Lord Brahma.
by Lord Brahma. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.1. For an explanation, refer to Adi Leela chapter 5 verse 84. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.267.
শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের দ্বিতীয় স্কন্ধের 6ষ্ঠ অধ্যায়ের 42 নম্বর শ্লোক।
Adyo avatara purushah parasya kala svabhava. Karanabdishai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects, the mind, the elements, the material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form of the Lord. Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.6.42. For an explanation, refer to Adi Leela chapter 5 verse 83.
So, without creating the material world, no question of avatar.
So without creating the material world, there is no question of avatar.
Avatar or incarnation means descent from the spiritual world
Avatara or incarnation means descends from the spiritual world
to the material world.
to this material world,
So,
to the material world.
first Lord is Mahavishnu.
So the first form is Mahavishnu.
And he creates all the 16 ingredients needed.
All the 16 ingredients needed.
Then he also creates carbon dioxide. He also manifests or expands
And he
carbon
also
dioxide into each universe.
also expands as Garbhodakashai Vishnu into every universe. Thus ends the chapter entitled Three Principal Forms of Bhagavan. To Tadekatma Rupa, Swamsa, personal expansion, 1 Purusha Avatara Part 1 under the section Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the Science of Absolute Truth.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.